I just saw one reviewer saying RF 1.2 45mm new lens has the worst MTF 50 chart of the last 5 years. Even the RF 50 1.8 lens has a better MTF, but it's 1.2. So when the 1.2 narrow it down to 1.4 or 1.8, it'll be different. It'll be very different. So people say, oh, corner sharpness. Well, you don't need a corner sharpness because you use a 45 f1.2. Why would you care about corner sharpness? If you want an optically corrected perfect lens, you wouldn't look for it in a $500, less than $500 f1.2. This is kind of like 5 years ago, 7 Artisan or the Laowa or those companies manual focus 50mm f1, f1.1, f1.2, or all of those. Yet this lens offered that kind of quality, but with autofocus, with Canon's reliability and compatibility, right? And you think about it, it's a first-party manufacturer. So if you bought one of those f1.2 or even f1 lens from 5 years ago, all this Chinese manufacturer, I'm sure you spent about $500 or even more than that. Laowa wasn't cheap. 7 Artisan probably cheaper, and TT Artisan was in between. And all these, yeah, even Tamron and Sigma don't do this kind of thing. So it's either the cheap Chinese manual focus, a lot of them no data transmission, full manual, a lot of them have no lens profile. This one not only has a lens profile, this one does even have the focus breathing compensation. So it's a complete package as far as I'm concerned. You wouldn't expect perfect optical performance at this price for first-party f1.2 lens. That's my point. It's not going to happen, and we know, everyone buying this aren't dreaming of a perfect f1.2 lens because you're only paying $460, right? I don't get it. I don't get it. Even $999, this is a bargain. For $460, this is beyond bargain. You know, 1.2 and 1.4, it's not 1/3 of a stop. It's a half a stop. That's quite a lot of difference. Half a stop. Anyway, enough rant. I don't know what people unhappy about this lens, what they wish. For $400 in this day and age, if you ask me, would you rather spend, like, say, I don't know, $600 for a Sony 40mm f2.5, or you get a 45 f1.2 on Canon for less money, and when you narrow it down to f2.5 or 2.8, you probably get about the same image quality. Which one would you prefer? I would rather prefer having an f1.2 at 300 something grams. We're not talking about 700, 900 grams, 340 grams, right? At this price, you get the flexibility. If you want a good quality, you want sharpness, you narrow it down like double Gaussian design. If you narrow it down to f5.6, they're quite good across the frame. But at 1.2, you have to accept it's not a perfectly corrected lens. It's got optical flaws, but it supports lens profile, it supports focus breathing compensation, it supports fully compatible with all Canon RF bodies. That's invaluable. That's much better value than any of the Chinese old crap, or some of them may not be crap optically, but from usability point of view, they're still pretty crappy. Yeah, that's it. See you guys next one. Bye for now.